We just stepped on their face with a hobnail boot and broke their nose. The way to the end zone, and Georgia is going to conquer the Crimson Tide.
So how about them fucking dogs? That's what I told them.
Hope it doesn't take that long again. Go Dogs.
Yo, what is going on? It is the 100 Sanford podcast after 2 weeks, which we said we were going to do. Taking a little break, we come back. It's Lovelace, it's Foster. I think we got Graham Coffee coming on. We got a special guest as always. Foss, what's going on, man?
Hey, man, you know what, man? I woke up this morning. And when I woke up this morning, guess what? The Dogs were still undefeated. They were still undefeated, man. I can get used to this, man. I can get used to this. And guess what else?
What up, man?
They back-to-back national championship. But I mean, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna rub it in too tough. But just so y'all know, you know, just so you know what I mean? We still in this thing. Undefeated.
Yo, man, I just realized that, you know, we part of a network, the Roll Up Network, and every time we get on the chat, I don't know how many people congratulated us, man. I just thought about it just when you said we back to back. Ain't nobody said, like, you know, congratulations. Because if it was us, we'd be humble enough to say, you know what, we don't want to say it, but congrats to, you know, winning the championship.
I don't know. I might. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But I'm fine playing the villain right now.
It's all good, right?
Make them squirm. Like
man.
I come up in the chat and it's like, Debo, tuck your 6 wins in.
Bruh, people scatter when you come on the chat. They're like, oh, here you go again, man. All of a sudden, they get real quiet for like 2 hours on the chat. That's when I chime in and say, what, you need help on something?
Tuck your 6 wins in, man. Tuck them before I take them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we talking about them Gators. Everybody knows who we talking about, man. Along with everybody else, because can't everybody in there talk? I think the Florida State boys, they're okay. They're feeling a little bit good about themselves.
Yeah, they feel a little good about themselves. They got their
Miami.
Coach,
they up and down.
They just got their coach, you know, unless they fire him, but they just got their coach for the foreseeable future to 29, I believe.
Yeah,
Norvell just got a nice little deal, about 8 per. You know what I mean? You can't beat that.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
Not for having 8 wins, 9 wins. You can't beat that at all. $1 million a win? I'll take that. I'll take that, bro. Yeah, man. So, I mean, they're feeling good about themselves, man. Everybody should be, you know, except, like I said, except for Florida.
They did. Put it like this. I could give Florida State this. I don't think anybody expected the year they did have, just based on the year before. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like I don't want to take it that far, but it's kind of like the deal with Sirianni. Like I'll be honest. Like from that first press conference, I was like, who did the Eagles hire?
Right.
And then it didn't go great. And then it went, you know, what year is this for Sirianni? 3?
No, this ain't in his second year. He came in the same time as Campbell did. So his first year was like, you know, well, we got to see where this goes, because I think some of his press conferences were still a little weird. Now, all of a sudden, man, he roaming the sidelines like, you know, like he Big Kirby or something. You know what I mean? Man in respect.
Hey, he can do it. He can do it.
Man.
They balled out this year. Made it to the bowl, and it's kind of like with Norvell. Like, I don't think anybody was expecting. You know, you're expecting what Florida State has been the past few years, which is, you know, middle of the pack, and you know they surprised some people this year. So I guess they feel like, the shot callers feel like he is, you know, the answer to getting them back to prominence, and we shall see.
We shall see, because he was on the hot seat, right? All they kept talking about was this year is going to be the year that maybe Dion got there. But no, my man put in some work and was able to upgrade the recruiting. Now Florida State's back on the map in the ACC. But we'll see. We'll see where he takes it. Congrats to them. As we talked about, Florida's a little bit down, of course, as always. Miami, You know, we got them boys in our chat as well, but heck, they lost their quarterback $13 million worth, right? And he ends up going to and he ends up going over to Arizona State. So a lot of stuff going on in college football, man.
Yeah,
but
since the last time we talked, man, what's been going on?
And signing day. But before we get there, man, we got to pay some bills, man. We got to give a shout out to our partner and our sponsor, Vacay. That's right. After winning the Natty and dealing with the offseason, you folks need to relax, unwind, and take a vacay. By elevating your mood with Vacay's premium Delta 8 products, we're talking about vapes. They got the gummies, multiple flavors. I think I got some pomegranate right now that'll help you relax in this crazy world we live in. Head on over to Vacay. takeavacay.com, TAKEAVACY or VAYCAY.com. Use the promo code 100 Sanford and get 10% off your order. That's Vacay, where it is here to relax your mind and increase your overall wellness. It has for me. Back to what we were talking about. Well, we were talking about Vacay, but man, did you get your gift? Did you get your gift, Foss?
Hey, man, I like to say, man, my man Lamar is a great guy. He sent your boy Foster a gift. I haven't used it yet, but you know, I'm tell you when I'm gonna use it. It's a nice little, you know, it's a nice little cup for my spirits. You know what I mean? A back-to-back. It's a 2022 national championship glass. You know,
yes, sir.
For my bourbon and my cognac.
There you go.
Know what I mean? And so my sister had a little birthday party this past Sunday, and I bought the liquor for the joint, and so I went, just in case we need a little backup, I went and got a little liter of Hennessy again for the punch, and but we ended up being fine. So which I had a whole bottle of Hennessy left that it didn't open. So you know what? I took it home, and so that's what's gonna go in my gift from Lamar, some OG Hennessy.
There you go, man. So I thought about it. The last time we were on the show, we were both talking about how we hadn't gotten our stuff in yet. So I said, you know what? I got to send him a nice little championship glass. He's a DGD. I'm going to bless him with it.
I'm still waiting on some stuff, man.
Man, that's messed up.
We'll see, man.
I got mine.
Man. I tell you what happened. I tell you what's the deal, though. We still undefeated. Will I get my stuff today? Tomorrow? Whatever. It's still the champs.
It's still gonna be timely.
Yeah, it's still in the record books. I don't need no shirt to tell it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, hey, man, we were talking about what's happened since the last time we were on. We did have National Signing Day, which is the official signing day. For February.
It's crazy, right?
Right.
Who was doing like signing? They don't mean nothing. I can't say it don't mean nothing. It's still some notable guys that wait.
Yes.
Sign on signing day. Some big, so like Georgia got,
Yes.
Georgia got them. What was it? We get one.
Well, they got Ellis Robinson, the fourth committee, but he's a 24 guy.
He's 24 guy, but then he's
a 24 guy. But the guy that we were looking for was Deuce Robinson to see if he was going to sign, and Deuce decided to hold off on it. So that's where we stand right now because he's a heck of a baseball player. And I guess when they did the interview, they asked him, what's the deal? He said, you know what? I'm still thinking about everything. I still think Georgia's...
the baseball draft happened?
No, the baseball draft, I think, happens in, is it May? April or May?
I thought it was somewhere around there. What about the lineman we had signed? Isn't he 23?
Oh, Merriweather. Yeah, he signed. He signed. Yeah. Okay. There you go. I forgot all about him. But that's what happens, right? When you got the early signing day, and you got like one guy, two guys that are sitting out there. It's like anticlimactic. It's like you getting a Christmas gift at the end of January and your mom coming in saying, "Oh, baby, I found this one in the closet," and it's some underwear. You're like, "Oh, come on, Mom."
Well, but it's not. You don't want the underwear. We want a guy like Merriweather. We want a guy like Merriweather, though.
Yeah.
So you'll say we want some good linemen. So you'll say that's a good addition. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's different. Like they should be just one signing day. Like it was the day, you know, like we talked about it on some shows ago, you know, you know, when I had to do signing day. And so it was a, you know, wonderful time for guys. Still a wonderful time. It is guys. You still see guys, you know, had their signings at their schools and whatnot. And good time. But yeah, you know, signing day happened. What else we had happen? You know,
well, I mean, it's also official.
Coaches making a lot of, you know, stops. You know, I got a few calls. You know, from, you know, if you got family friends, like, oh my God, Kirby came in the helicopter. So like, Kirby came and seen my baby.
Kirby out there kissing babies and shaking hands, huh?
Kirby came and seen my baby. He brought a helicopter right to the school. Yeah, I got it.
That's hilarious.
A call like that, you know. Yeah, man, a lot of recruiting. You know, a lot of recruiting. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, I mean, and it never stops for Kirby and the boys, right? I mean, it's college football. It doesn't stop. And it's a full-year process. They might take a day or two off, but they're back on the road doing what they got to do, or else bringing somebody in or whatever it may be. But those boys, they hustle. And I think that's probably one of the biggest – I ain't going to say a knock on Kirby. I mean, you just better be prepared when you're part of his regime, man. You're going to be out there recruiting. You're going to be out there putting in work, and you ain't going to be out there, you know – playing golf the way you want to play golf and, you know, putting in like all those hours that Spurrier used to put in. But Kirby's going to make these guys work, which is pretty interesting because it's still the elephant in the room. You got Todd Monken out there who's out there recruiting, but Todd Monken's still one of these guys that he's being recruited by a couple NFL teams, Baltimore Ravens, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There might be another one, in just assuming whoever gets the new job over at Arizona, but what are your thoughts on that, man? I mean, Todd Monken, he deserves it. He deserves to do whatever he wants to do, obviously. I mean, he's a grown man, but we're now in February, and he's a major cog in this wheel.
Yes, definitely major cog in this wheel. Major part of, you know, 2 national championships. Major part in the development of Stetson Bennett, just major part in, like, you know, I feel like he's a major part in getting Big O back up and running to be the you know, highly rated tight end he is going to draft right now. He's been key for this offense, and so we definitely want him back. We definitely need him back. I understand why he would just, you know, entertain offers. He has NFL experience, so he knows if he liked it or not. You know what I mean? I don't know what the circumstances were with him, you know, coming to college, coming to Georgia. You know, I don't know what his preference is. You know, because it's two different levels of football. The main difference, obviously, is you don't recruit in the NFL. You know, you do your job, and then when the off season comes, that's your off season. You know what I mean? That can be enticing to some people. You know, recruiting is different from a lot of these coaches remember. You know what I mean? Most of them like it's a lot different, and you got to ask yourself, like, do I want to deal with these kids? Do I want to deal with these prima donnas? Do I want to deal with these parents? Do I want to deal with, you know, NIL, what these parents and kids think about NIL, what they want it to be versus what it really is? You got, you know, like there's a lot to think about when you're talking about coaching on a college level as opposed to in the NFL. You know, NFL, you know, maybe his drawbacks is, you know, if you don't do too well, like, you might be out of there fast.
Yeah,
like they don't give you the rope. The rope gets kind of shorter in the NFL. You know, with a lot of people, or, you know, especially if you're an assistant. You see how all those guys got let go in Tampa. You know, the head man's still standing. You know what I mean? And not that he shouldn't be. You know what I'm saying? I like Todd. I think Todd, right? Coach, you know, but, you know, it's going to be you before him.
Well, see, that's the thing that made me think about it, man. That's what made me think about it. Why would you do it? Oh, wait a minute. Hold up a second, Foss. Hold up. We got our guest. He actually came in just a little bit early. We're going to get back into that conversation. But we could actually get into that conversation as well when our guest actually comes on, because he's going to know a little bit about it. Mm-hmm. So he's logging in now.
Yo.
Oh, there he is.
What's going on?
What's going on, big dog?
Oh, I just had a little wedding planning meeting with the old fiance and the wedding planner. So,
sounds like fun.
folks, if you don't know who this is, I mean, let's just listen to the smoothness of his voice. You heard him before. He's got his own podcast.
I'm trying to be like you, boss.
Oh, come on, man. I ain't even trying to hear that. I was looking at your photos today, and I'm like, you know what? I don't know if he's going to go to the NFL. I don't know what he's going to do, but I think he's going to be some type of model, some type of something on the next level. Folks, it's Ryland Goede. He is actually on the show tonight. The former, quote unquote, former Dawg, but who's now going to be a Dawg in Mississippi State as well, as he's now transferred, but still, he is definitely a DGD as always. What's up, Ryland?
A champion.
Back to back
championship.
Two-timer, baby. Come on.
I'm a fellow Dawg, man. So hey, man, I love it. I'm loving these past few years, man. Absolutely loving it, man. How you doing, man? How has that been? I don't think I've talked to anybody player-wise that, has, been a part of this the last couple of years. I talk to Gant all the time. Gant's been there since I was there. Before I was there, that's like a big brother to me, but like player-wise, I haven't talked to any of you guys, man. How is that being? That's crazy, right? How is that being?
It's first of all, Gant is Georgia, so that's
he is like period.
Yeah, he's Georgia. Dude, it's been insane. And each year, I say this, each year was different. So that, being here for 4 years, my freshman year, we lost to South Carolina, and then we lost to LSU the year that LSU had Burrow and Chase, and just all those dudes. COVID year, was just weird. And then we came back from the COVID year feeling really good. And, I think we played that my junior year, the first time I won it, we played with a lot more talent and just dudes all over the place. It is shown in the 15 draft picks that we had. And so that year was more of a wow factor of like, we did it. Like, the first time we broke the curse, let's go. And this past year was more so of like, we've done it before. We may not have the exact same talent that we did, but we still got some dudes. And so it was just more so playing with confidence, knowing we could do it. And it played a huge role. We went undefeated with, probably a less talented team than we did the year before. We just believed in ourselves more.
What's it like just being around there as champions in Athens, man? I couldn't imagine. Like I had the time of my life in Athens, and like the best. We did have a pretty good team my senior year. We went 13-1. We finished number 3 in the nation. There was no playoff. You know what I mean? So we was just stuck at number 3.
Yeah.
But like, what's it like being a champion in Athens, Georgia?
Dude, it's insane. I would say the first 2 days that you feel it really were the parades, both of the days, especially the first year, because we were like a parade, like, people going to show up for this, and we hopped out in the dark. And, dude, they were, endless amounts of people, and so that was kind of the first like, wow, like this is something, like we just did something. And then we'd go out to eat, and I'm good buddies with Stetson and a couple of the guys, Jake Camarda, who was a punter, and then JD and some of the big boys would be with us, and we'd have someone from across the restaurant just pick up the tab.
Wow.
Things like that, where it's like, it's crazy. Guys would, you're getting gas and somebody would come over and talk to you, and then somehow your gas tank's full and you don't know how it got full. But just, it's been cool.
Crazy.
But also in the same, kind of a different mindset, but in the same period of time, you get back, like after our first championship, we got back to work within 2 weeks. And so, Kirby's preaching, it's a new year, ain't nothing happened yet. And so within 2 weeks, you're rolling. There ain't no 3-month break. It's right back to it.
No question. He wants number 3 immediately.
Yep. Oh yeah. He wants 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all in that order.
All right, so I got to ask you this, man, because you come in as a freshman, and like you said, everything's a little bit different, right? But what were the expectations then compared to what the expectations are now? Like you just said, Kirby wants 3, he wants 4, he wants 5. But what's the difference in the expectation level? The feeling.
I would say, yeah. I know exactly what you're saying. It's a great question. I would say that there's nothing. The expectations haven't changed, but the buy-in has. I would say the different crew that we had my junior and senior year, it was different than my freshman and sophomore year. And a lot of it started with, I'm sure y'all have heard about it, but the skull sessions that we did coming out of COVID, with a lot of the racial stuff going on, we just started sitting down and talking a lot more and learn about each other and just figuring out, what makes every single guy in this room click. And so it just created relationships that just couldn't be broken. And so no matter what, if we were down 20 at Mizzou, if we were down 14 at Mizzou, if we're down 14 against Ohio State, if we lose, we get crushed by Bama, come back and beat them 2 weeks later, there was nothing that it could stop us from playing for the guy next to us. And so I wouldn't say the expectation has ever changed. It never will with Coach Smart there, but the buy-in from the group of guys that we had is what changed.
How do you replicate that?
That's a great question. I think it's something that has to be learned, and it takes time. It took time here. And there's got to be trust. And so Coach Smart's built a great chain of trust up into him. And so, we trust our coaches trust him, and in return, everybody trusts each other. And it takes time to build that, and it takes credibility to build that. And, if someone wanted to, one of our assistant coaches wanted to go and do it right away, it's going to take a couple of years, but trust is the main thing.
Yeah. So how do you notice, like, what's an example of something that's different from 2019 that it is from 2022 as far as that buy-in? What's something that guys would have done in 2019 that would never happen in 2022? Because like you say, you guys are it's crazy. Kirby explains it perfect. You guys, where it was connection. And you guys were very connected. And the weird part about it, I don't know if it's weird, but the fascinating part about it is you can see it in the way you guys play. It's not a lot of lip service. Like, you can see that, hey, I want to play for my brother in you guys play. It's fascinating to see. It's crazy to see. You see it play out on the field while watching the game. It's kind of like the first level, the second level has his back, third level has his back. It's really good to see. It's like poetry in motion. Like, how do you guys get to that? And what's the difference between 2019 and 2022? Like, something that would happen then that, like, you guys nipped that in the bud.
That's a great question. I would say that the first thing that comes to mind for me is, and this is kind of a physicality and a practice mindset, is, my freshman year and some of my sophomore year, on Thursdays, we didn't really go pads at all. It would be like the light pads and just a helmet, and it was just kind of a sprint through day. Like, there wasn't really any contact. And even into my sophomore year, it was a little bit of that and a lot more shorts on Wednesdays. We weren't going full pads on Wednesdays. And then junior year, we had dudes. We did that the first week where we went soft shells on Thursday, and we had our leadership group went up to Kirby, and we were like, we ain't doing that this year. And so we were going pads Monday through Thursday, getting after it. And that created a culture of just like, mother effers, like, we're tougher than you are and you can deal with it. And so, even like, here's a great example. Tuesday practices, team run. Everybody knows there's that 1 day a week that's just, and for us it was 2 days a week, but a lot of places just 1 day a week that's just brutal. 2.5 hours, you're getting after it. And we would come up during team run, and, a lot of teams have a divide between the offense and defense. And it wasn't like that. Like, we'd have Tate Ratledge, and we'd have guys like Broderick coming up and just hugging JD and hugging to Kobe and dapping each other up, like, let's go, fam, like, let's get it going. So it wasn't, there was no division when it came time for push to shove.
It's awesome.
you know, you come in, you're a highly touted tight end, and, you know, we talk about this growth and this connection. Now, you come into your junior year, I'm sitting there thinking, okay, it's Ryland time, right?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, this tight end room fills up. Not just the tight end room, the offensive line, the quarterbacks, the running, everything is filling up now because Kirby, I mean, he's on autopilot now with recruiting, right?
Yeah.
How did you guys really build the connection? Because everybody wants to be the guy. Everybody wants to be the next guy. So with that being said, how did you guys build it in those actual position rooms?
Man, that's another great question. I would say, you know, something that was really cool for us in both years, but really that junior year for me, our first national championship was, you know, it was twofold, and it was both to do with leadership. Number one, a lot of the leaders in each position room were guys that didn't play, and so that came, you know, with that respect from guys that play on the field. It's like, all right, this guy ain't playing, so if something doesn't go my way, like I'm still going to respect him by doing what I got to do. So it was leadership from guys that didn't have major roles on the field, but also guys that had leadership roles that played a lot, did everything the right way. And so, for example, Nakobe Dean, engineering major, I mean, just a stud, like one of the brightest dudes I've ever met in my entire life. And it's like, you know, if you mess up, you're disappointing him. And it as a friend and as a leader and seeing what he does, you can't let him down. So I would say it's twofold. It's one, guys that, you know, didn't play, had a huge leadership role that created an automatic, you know, chain of respect. And then the guys that did have the leadership roles were also doing everything the right way.
Who are those guys in the clubhouse now that you guys are leaving, that this class is leaving?
Yeah, that's a great question. Ced Van Pran's huge, big time leader. You know,
great to get him back. I was so happy.
Yeah,
he could have left.
Ced's one of a kind, man. He's special. You know, I'd go Cedric. I'd go Pop. I would go Dan Jackson. You know, I'm going to go Kendall Milton, Ladd. Just a lot of those guys that have been in those shoes before. Those are going to be a lot of the guys, and you know, they'll create other leaders through themselves, but those will be the guys that, you know, probably take the reins.
Do you have somebody that that surprised you this past year? Maybe you know, you have faith in your guys. One, you have faith in your guys. Two, you know, y'all recruit very well.
Yeah.
So it ain't many slappies on the team, but is there somebody that really surprised you? It could be somebody that played pretty good last year that even just took it up a notch this year, or that surprised you.
Can I give you a couple answers on that?
Yeah, man.
All right.
This
So,
your world.
first of all, I'm going to go Michael Williams. He showed up first day, and we were like, I thought Trayvon left because the dude and he was long arming dudes on the edge, and we were like, dude, are you kidding me? Like, we just got rid of Trayvon in practice, and now we got to deal with this. So Michael is just an absolute dude, and just was really cool to see him right away make an impact, and just knowing how good of a kid he is, it was really cool to see. Somebody that got like unbelievably better throughout the season was Branson Robinson. Dude, he showed up like just a dog, and they had to lower his weight numbers in the weight room because he's just so strong, and he got a little more mobile, faster, and the dude by the end of the year was hitting 22 on the GPS, just running. And so that dude's fun to watch. And so those would be two of the guys that were cool and surprising to see early on.
You know what? I got a good question. Well, good to me because I want the insight. To me, I want to get your thoughts and opinions on, you know, the stud in your room, Brock Bowers. One of the studs.
Yeah. Right, Foss, that's what I'm saying. Like, when you look at that tight end room, the whole room is crazy.
Crazy.
Yes.
Yeah. So
we've had 4 guys drafted the last 4 years, so.
Right.
Yes.
There's going to be plenty more. You know what I mean? You go do your thing, and then we can claim you too.
Yes, sir.
But it was crazy to see Brock hit the scene. Like after I finished playing in NFL, I went into scouting. So I have a little insight into that world. And I still have my connections in that world. And I hit my guys. I was like, am I tripping? Or could this freshman have went first round this year? And they're like, oh yeah, okay, so I'm not tripping. Like, what is it like to see? Because I haven't seen anything like that in at his position. And mind you, I've had to scout Kelsey and Gronk, all those guys. They're different. They're different bodies, different build,
different style ball,
same position, different style of ball. This cat is taking sweeps to the house,
bro.
This cat is taking slants to the house. Like, is he a 4-4? Like what?
Dude,
like,
here's the thing with him. So here's a funny story to kind of take it back.
And another tidbit too, what gets lost in translation is because like he's strong as an ox too, bro. It's not just speed. Yeah. So I'm gonna let you take it away.
He so kind of hitting on the whole recruiting thing with the tight end room real quick, and then I'll get into Brock. We were doing a summer workout my freshman year, and Charlie Warner was still here, so it was his senior year. And both Darnell and Gilbert were here on campus doing some stuff with us. And Charlie looked at me and Brett, two freshmen that had just gotten here, just, hopeful, excited to play, hopefully in the next couple of years. And he was like, boys, let me tell you what, I'm glad I'm getting out of here because these two guys will take my job right now. So we're like, of course, now we're going to be in this room. But, dude, it's first of all, the greatest thing about Brock is just his smile, his positivity. Like, he's just the most innocent, nicest kid you'll ever meet. If you saw him in the grocery store with a sweatshirt on and shorts, you'd be like, who is this joker? This guy ain't on a football team. Right. But, dude, he's just different. Like, he's just got another gear on him that, and I don't know what it is. We first saw it during our conditioning, his freshman year. He came early, didn't play ball his senior year because of COVID in high school. So came early, and we were doing some of our conditioning sprints. And like, mind you, like me, it was Trey McKitty. No, was it Trey? Trey just left. It was me, Fitz, Brett, him, and Darnell. And like all of us can move pretty well, right? And so us and the quarterbacks are running together, and some of the linebackers. And there goes Brock, just 20 yards ahead of all of us. I mean, just rolling. And we were like, yeah, we're not touching the field. Like, this guy's unbelievable. Then we did, during spring ball, he was impressive. And then we did our little summer combine, and, he was putting up numbers that just receivers were doing, and even better than receivers. And it was just like, are you kidding me? And then that UAB game, when he had that catch and took it to the house, it was like, all right, yeah, he's here. Like, this is a dude. But he's so, his motor never stops, dude. Like, no matter how tired he is, he's going to look the exact same play 1 to play 60. And that's what makes him really, really special.
And it really surprised me that, what I'm saying? No disrespect to California. The kids, like, when you think Napa Valley, you think wine. Mm-hmm. And wine and cheese and going to the wineries and everything. You don't expect to get the stud from Napa. Like, we Georgia boys. Like, we play ball. We play ball down here.
Yeah. When he took that ball against Tech to the house, that little glance route that he ran and then split the defenders, we were like, are we sure this dude's from Cali? He's got to be. I mean, he's a Georgia boy. He ain't no Cali boy.
Man, for real.
Hey, I got to transition this because, again, that tight end room has been nuts, including yourself. I mean, Brett Seether, everybody. I mean, that tight end room has just been outstanding under Coach Todd Hartley. This year, they were still going after another big dog, Deuce Robinson. He's still out there. He's still thinking about what he wants to do, where he wants to go. But he has the option of baseball. Now, what's interesting to me about that is that when you were coming out, highly recruited, also highly recruited for baseball. What are your thoughts in terms of him coming in? Can he play both? Well, I mean, would it work out at Georgia for him to be able to play both? I mean, it's demanding right now.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that, man?
Absolutely. It's a great question. A unique situation for sure. And so when he came on his OV, I got to host him and just share my story with him. And I did it for 2 years here, and just for me, it didn't work. My body was overworked. I just was doing way too much. But for him, he's a different cat. He's a different type of athlete than I am.
You didn't sell that right, by the way. You didn't sell that right. You should have said, "Yeah, I was able to do it." No.
Piece of cake, bro. Piece of cake. But I told him, I was like, I mean, it's doable. Like, and you're the kind of kid that it would work. You could work through it with.
What do you mean by he's different?
He's also his. I mean, from his genetics, right off the bat, his dad was an All-American at FSU. His mom was an All-American swimmer at Florida, I believe. And he's pushing 6'7", probably 240 right now. And I mean, y'all saw that video of him at the Polynesian Bowl, just running by a DB. He's just a different skill set. Moves really well. And so I just told him, I was like, dude, like if it's something you want to do, you can definitely do it and do it here, and they'll support you here. I think he can definitely do it. Now, if that, if the show comes calling and picks him in the first round and offers him a couple mil, he might see ya. I'm taking the cash, but
I feel you.
He can definitely do it in both, and he's freaking both. So.
Well, you know what? We got the show also trying to pull one of our coaches away, Todd Monken. You played underneath him. You played underneath his tutelage, and this play calling and everything has been outstanding the last couple years. Athens hasn't seen anything like him at all. But what are your thoughts, man? I mean, what does it mean for Monken to be here versus Monken leading? I mean, I know we got other big time coaches in waiting, but what's it like? And what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, he's the best play caller I've ever been around to this point. Obviously, I'm leaving and going somewhere else, so that could change. But up until my time here, he was the best play caller I've ever experienced. And then just the way he, I mean, we've talked a little bit about it before, but the way he explains scenarios throughout the game in practice and makes it real for you is something that I haven't experienced until him. We'll have install on Thursday before the game. We'll have a full page of install, but he'll go through each play and he'll be like, this is what we're doing. This is what we're looking for. Next play, this is what we're doing. This is what we're looking for. And so he's just so detailed. And you can tell he's a league guy because he expects you to come in and like, you better have the basics down, and he's going to expand upon that. But dude, he's been huge for us. And I think, his contract shows that, and, our wins and points show that as well.
Yeah. What do you think, like what's Coach, I have experience with Coach Bobo. He was kind of like a GA when I was there. Like he left the year before I got there, and then he came back as like a GA. Him and Kirby actually. So I have experience with those guys. I played with Kirby 1 year, but with Bobo, do you see if Coach Monken was to leave, do you see Bobo being able to do some of the same things? Do they seem like on the same page? Is Bobo any different? Or what do you see life being like without Monken?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, Coach Bobo is awesome. He was, around us a lot, and I got to learn a lot from him. I learned a lot from him this past year. And he's been all over the place, OC, head coach. And so, I think if he were to, if he gets the job in the future at all, he'd be just as, equal as Monken.
Before we transition to MSU, I need a funny UGA story, a funny story with Kirby, with your time being there, funny story with the fellas, just something that allow the listener to say, you know what, now this even pulls me in deeper into Dawg Nation.
Oh man. Okay. Give me a second to think about it.
Something at practice, something that just will drive Kirby crazy. I don't even know what it is. Something that you would probably get in trouble for if you weren't.
I gotta choose my words wisely.
Yeah, you gotta choose.
I will say this: there was a group of us my sophomore year. Me and a couple of the linemen, a couple of the walk-on linemen, a couple of Scully linemen, D linemen. We went to I can't remember what wing house it was, but it was all-you-can-eat wings. It was like a Wednesday night special they had, and we shut the place down.
Nice.
They kicked us out at the end of the night because we probably, there was 8 of us, and a couple hundred wings, easy.
Damn.
Yeah, that's a little sneaky behind the story, but nothing.
That sounds like because when I was in school, the lineman, we used to go to Sonny's. Is Sonny's still there?
Ooh, yeah, come on.
We used to shut Sonny's down.
Dude, that's the place now.
Yeah, we used to go there and shut Sundays down. Who's somebody on the team that's unexpectedly hilarious? Who keeps the
Light.
energy
Who keeps
going?
it light?
Who keeps it light around there? Because I know it's very serious, with the head man. Who keeps it light?
Right off the bat, Cade Brock, one of our walk-on tight ends. He's been a walk-on D tackle, linebacker, now he's a tight end. Just a good old boy. And, bro, he drives our coaches insane with how funny he is. He's a character. It'll be so funny to the point where all of us are crying in a meeting room, and Harley will just get so mad that he's walked out of the meeting room before.
Oh man, that's funny, man.
Well, I mean, with all this leadership and all this, experience, now you're moving over to Mississippi State. We're sad to see you go as always. I mean, I love talking to you, chatting with you, texting with you, but you're going to Mississippi State now. You're moving on into bigger and better things. I love the sweetheart deal you pulled. You and the fiance both going over to Mississippi State, over to Starksville. But what are you bringing? What is Mississippi State getting in Ryland Goede?
That's a great question. I would say it's been an interesting ride. I would say that, if you would have asked me a year and a half ago if I would have kept playing after my 4 years, I would have been like, nah, I'm good. But I think one of the things that's, I'm bringing to the table is throughout the last year, I've, number one, fallen back in love with the game, and number two, seeing myself grow on the field tremendously to the point where I know I can play somewhere else. So I'm just bringing, somebody who's just dying to get on the field and play and is just going to give my all. Especially now that I got a wife, like you mentioned, or will have a wife. I got to, try and provide for her. So I'm going to, do or die. That's all I got. And then leadership-wise, just bringing experience. And that's one of the things I talked to Coach about when we were over there in Starkville is just I want to, build a culture for the tight end room that's going to last 15, 20 years. And I feel like I'm a guy that can help them do that. So
why Starksville?
Listen, it's a 10-minute drive from the edge of the town to the other edge of the town. Outside of the 10 minutes, there ain't nothing. But inside those 10 minutes, man, it's, the campus is beautiful. Everything's just really crisp, really clean. Restaurants are great, and the people are unbelievable in Mississippi. They were so nice. And the coaching staff was awesome. Facilities were great. And their sweet tea was unbelievable, and I'm a sweet tea boy. So, yeah.
I'm from Macon, Georgia, man. Sweet tea. Oh my goodness, that's my favorite drink right there.
Oh, dude, go to.
I gotta go to Star Vegas, man. Give me some sweet tea.
Y'all come out there on a game, and then we'll get something going.
Yes, sir. I might even ring a bell.
No, I hate to bring it down a little bit, but I mean, there was something that did happen in Athens. Obviously, the untimely passing of Devin. It brought everything down, right? But at the same time, you also had an untimely passing in Starksville with Coach Leach. What is the mood like? Both you're going from one environment to the other environment. I think they're probably still feeling the effects of it. Now you got Coach Arnett there. What's the mood like in Starksville, and how are they responding, and how are they kind of bouncing back off of the untimely death of Coach Leach?
Yeah, I think, first of all, condolences to all of his friends and family, people that knew him, as well as Desmond Chandler. But I would say, it's I think, mourning has its stages, and I think the stage that the program is right now, it is in right now, is a stage of just trying to make him proud and make his family proud. And, they're going to, they do everything the right way and are going to do it the right way to honor him. And I think that's kind of where they're at right now.
Nice.
Sure.
Well, when's the date, man? When's the official wedding date? I mean, I think Foss is, breaking out his checkbook right now. He's trying to send you guys a little something. But
it's May 21st.
May 21st. Where you guys getting married at? Is anything anywhere special?
No, it's a little place in Commerce, a little barn that she found. We wanted to do it near Athens.
Commerce.
Yeah.
Good old Commerce.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
So we're excited about that. May 21st. So yeah. May's kind of a crazy month. So I'll do stuff for my last couple of broadcasting classes first week of May, go on the old bachelor trip the next weekend, come back and graduate 4 days later. 5 days after that, get married, go on the honeymoon, come back the next day, go to Starkville. So
Wow.
Yeah.
So what happens with the podcast? What happens with the podcast? You and Tater, what's going on? Because I got to find out, man. Because I tune in every week. But what's going to happen? You guys going to try to do this long distance? It's going to be Dawg versus Dawg. How are you going to make things happen?
Well, first of all, thanks for watching. I appreciate that.
Always, bro.
No, I don't know. We're going to figure out something. We don't know what that looks like yet. We're trying to put a vision together for it. We struggle with the idea of letting it go. At least I really, really do, because that's my baby. And so I don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to figure there will be something.
Keep it going. Try to keep it going, man.
Go ahead.
I said, try to keep it going, man. Me and Lamar ain't in the same place right now. We're making it work. We any given day, we got 4 people on here in 4 different locations, man. Yeah. We're making it work. So you guys keep it on going, man. The luxuries of technology that we live in. When I was at your position, there was no podcast. It definitely would have been. Definitely wouldn't have been no long distance podcast. So, but I believe you guys could keep it going, man.
I appreciate it. We're gonna try and work something up. So,
well, Ryland, man, I thank you for joining the show. Thank you for coming on. I know you're busy. You got a lot of things going on. You're working out. You're getting ready to, get hitched. And be kind of tied down a little bit. But it's a lovely ride, man. You'll enjoy it. And but we thank you for coming on. But before you go, let everybody know how they can get more Ryland Goede, watch the podcast, follow you at Mississippi State, all that good stuff. Plug yourself, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Y'all can hit me up on my socials at Ryland Goede on everything. And then in my bio is our podcast at Real Talk WRT. So it's Real Talk with Ryland and Tate, also on YouTube. So.
Love it, man. Sure. Thanks again.
Let me ask you a question before you get off. I don't live in the Kennesaw area. I'm not from the Kennesaw area. I'm from Macon, Georgia, but I have to go up to Kennesaw very frequently because my daughter is part of the Stingrays cheer squad. Yep. And so while she's at practice, where's some good place for me to grab a bite to eat in Kennesaw, man?
Ooh, that's a great question. What kind of food you dig? What you like?
I am 300 plus pounds. Now that answers your question.
Oh man. I'm trying to think. So I'm trying to think what's more so on that side because it's closer to Marietta, correct?
Yeah, it's whatever. I got gas.
Exactly where it is. Man.
Just one place, and I'm gonna hit it.
All right. There's a place probably about 10 minutes away from there. You like fried chicken? Because I love fried chicken.
Yes, so, yeah.
There's Kennesaw Mountain, the mountain, right? And right at the base of the mountain, there's this breakfast place called Base Camp. And bro, sausage and gravy, fried chicken, potatoes.
I believe I've seen that place because I used to go. Unfortunately, I haven't been in a while. I feel bad for not going a while, but I used to hike in Kennesaw. I used to hike Kennesaw Mountain. Now I need to get back into it, judging from the scale. But yeah, I believe I know what you're talking about. I got to get it.
Hit it up. It's Base Camp. Dude, it's unbelievable. The fried chicken.
Nice.
Unbelievable.
Oh, hold up.
You're about to say
you're gonna eat all the chicken, then you're gonna hike. Is that what you're saying?
That's probably the best case scenario.
Or you hike and then you make yourself feel good and just come down and feast.
Man, for real though, man. Thanks, man.
Heck yeah. They have their lunch specials usually rotate between like a fried chicken something or fried catfish or something like that. Oh, it's unreal.
Catfish?
Bro, it's unreal.
I'll be there.
Yes, sir.
And y'all making me hungry. All right, man. We appreciate it, bro. We appreciate you coming on. I don't know where your lovely fiance is, but I'm sure. Wait a minute. You just got done doing your plans, right? You were working on things, so she must be somewhere around. So tell her we said hello. UGA grad as well. Love you guys and have a good one, bro. We appreciate it, man.
Appreciate y'all.
Good luck going forward, man.
Appreciate it, bro.
All right, Foss. That was Ryland Goede. Very good conversation. It's always nice when you can talk to somebody that's actually doing it at the present time. And we've had a lot of guests on that have done some great things, obviously. Some people that have won national championships, those that have played in championship games. But when you get somebody that's lived it, and living the atmosphere right now, back-to-back champions. Like you said, it's crazy. The atmosphere is crazy. The response is crazy, and the life that you now live after that, because no matter what, he's always going to be able to flash those two rings, and he is a legend. Yeah, always a champion. I mean, like you said, you're going around, you're kissing babies, you're shaking hands, you also getting every meal paid. These guys will never have to pay for a meal the rest of their lives in Athens or even in Georgia. You know what I mean? So
it's crazy.
Must be nice. Must be nice.
And yes, he gave me the nice recommendation for fried chicken and sweet tea. That's my type of guy.
Man, y'all got me hungry. Ain't nothing like that here in Richmond. That's where I'm at right now. And ain't nothing like that. No nice fried chicken and sweet tea. Well, they got sweet tea, but it ain't that type of Georgia sweet tea, baby. So it is what it is. But it was some interesting answers that he gave, man, in terms of where this team stands. And you brought it up with the connection that these guys have with each other. And what's going to be interesting for me moving forward is how they recapture that. That's why I wanted to ask, what was it like before he got there to what's it like now? How do they recapture it? And he did mention some studs there, some leaders, so we'll see what happens.
And honestly, man, it's like I don't want to sound like a homer. And, of course, I obviously I have some bias, you know what I'm saying? But I'm also able to look at most things, unbiasedly. Dude, it's when you judging from what he said, he didn't say anything that we didn't already probably know or assume with how that program is run. They're gonna be a tough out for a long time. You know what I mean? Like, it's like they're probably gonna be expected to win it again. The only reason they maybe went, we're gonna have a quarterback that hasn't started before. That's the big difference. Especially if Munkin comes back, they're going to be projected to win again. That defense is going to be a year older. You know what I mean? Studs all over the place. I saw I think it was a clip from the podcast the other day, and they were talking about the new enrollee linebackers that was prepping them for the bowl game.
Right.
They were like, them dudes can roll.
Yeah, right.
Like, defense is going to be rocking and rolling. Like, I was happy to hear that, just from that clip, from that podcast clip. They said those new guys, said that class of linebackers, like, they already catching eyes.
And when you look at the leaders, man, that these guys are bringing in, I mean, it's the same type of, it's dogs that they're bringing in, 4 stars, 5 stars, obviously, but it's the character. That's the thing that's getting me. When you got a bunch of guys in the room that have a high level character, along with the connection, as long as these guys, these newer guys that can connect with the older guys, and you can continue this process of bringing in guys with high level character, they'll be all right. There's no doubt about it. When you got a guy like A.J. Harris, it's like, coach me, coach. I mean, he posted something I think was on his IG that was like,
yeah, I'm
just here to be coached. Let's go.
Yeah.
You don't hear that very often from a freshman 5-star.
Like he is like, I feel like that kid is all business.
Yes.
He is locked in. He has a plan.
Yes.
He's one of those guys that you look up 3 years from now and you're not surprised he's a first-round draft pick.
Facts.
Or first-round prospect, because I feel like he's the type of kid that has the plan in place already. He knows what his end game is, and he's willing to do whatever it is.
Yeah.
To reach it. And like that's the type of kid that fits into that program. Like it's crazy how scary good they could be. And you don't want to assume, because you always got to play the game. Football is football. You have to play the game. It don't matter what you look like on paper in football. That's for sure. You know what I mean? Like, ain't no LeBron James that you just toss the ball to and let him do his thing in football.
Right.
It takes everybody. You know what I mean? And it just looked like a scary team again. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens, but they're gonna be pretty good. Like just get a glimpse from Ryland, a glimpse from him about what the culture is like. It's like, how can they not be projected, to be in the mix again?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially if you bring back the same coaching staff. I mean, we've mentioned it multiple times on this podcast about what Kirby mentioned, that this was his best mix of coaches. So if you bring back the same mix of coaches that have been there, that have done it, some of them that have won one title, some of them have won back-to-back titles, some of them have won multiple titles going back to their other coaching pedigree and different areas that they've been at, that part will be taken care of. It's just a matter of, can they get this new collection of guys for 2023 to buy into the connection? If they do that, again, it's on the road to three-peat. I dare anybody say it, but you know what? Forget that knocking on wood stuff and everything else. No, you just got to go out there and play. And as long as, like you said, you handle business and you play within those lines, you're going to be just fine, and possibly bring back another one for 23/24. The Dogs sent in an offer to Jake Merklinger, 6'2", from Calvary Day High School in Savannah, Georgia, quarterback. This is interesting before we, kind of wrap things up tonight, but it's interesting because Dylan Raiola was the key target for 24. I guess he hasn't backed off of saying he wanted to go to Georgia or anything like that, but it's just a matter of, I think that they're just in a position where they could say, you know what, let's cast a wide net and see what we pull in. I think in 23, they went after, Arch Manning with everything that they had, didn't pull in Arch Manning, and then they didn't have anybody. Kind of left there holding the bag, So I think, bringing in another highly capable quarterback in Jake Merklinger. I know I looked him up today, watched some huddle. The kid can sling it. He can sling it, so he ain't no slouch, man. And plus Palisi. Is it Palisi?
Puglisi or what?
Puglisi, yeah. You already got him in the fold for 24. He's verbally committed. But it's going to be interesting, man, with this new wave of offense that Georgia has. It's going to open up a lot. I don't think you'll ever see any duds at quarterback or skill positions. You're not going to see that, but it's going to be interesting to see who actually signs up for 24. Because if they get Raiola, I think everybody else just kind of floods in, much like what Texas did with Arch Manning, and then all of a sudden you had a bunch of people flooding in. I think with Raiola, the same thing is going to happen. But heck, they're already off to a great start in 24 recruiting. They're just bringing in stud after stud anyway, so it doesn't even matter. This might be an unprecedented class, depending on what happens in 23. Quite honestly, I mean, I don't even know how you're a recruit and you don't even entertain the opportunity or the thought process of, I want to go play with these dudes where it's going to be fun. I'm going to get my shot at the league, all that good stuff, and I'm going to win. I mean, I just don't see how you even turn down the opportunity, but I guess everybody does whatever they're going to do. So it is what it is.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, man. But before we get up out of here, just a quick tidbit. The basketball team is now 14-10 under Coach Mike White. They got off to a pretty good start. But now you start to see a little bit of that fatigue setting in, man. I mean, he's trying to build a culture there in Athens, much like Kirby did his first couple years. Mm-hmm. And he's got to get his guys. He brought in quite a few portal guys. He was able to get Aquindo back, but you see it. You see these guys. I mean, they're hustling. They're doing everything they can. They just don't have the talent right now.
Yeah, they just don't have the guys. They're gonna be fine though. He's building the culture up. Same thing happening on the women's side. Just building the culture up. Both teams has new coaches. They're bringing in their people. I think the future is bright for both basketball teams. You know what I mean? Like they're running into a tough SEC schedule. SEC is not just football anymore.
Nope.
You know what I mean? It's some stud teams, and but they play good against some of these teams. You know what I mean? So I'm ready for Georgia basketball to get back to some type of prominence. They were pretty good. When I was there with Jim Herrick. You know what I mean? Fun to watch. It was great to go to those games. Same on the women's side with Coach Landers. Having Tennessee coming to town, beating Tennessee. With Coach Summit them coming back. So it'd be nice to see good Georgia basketball again.
Yeah, it'll be back. It just takes a little time. And basketball is one of those things that if you do get the perfect mix of portal guys along with your own recruits, everything turns around relatively quickly. But he's got to get his guys in a full season of recruiting. Same thing like you said on the women's side, a full season of recruiting, and let them really build the culture and allow the leaders in the room, just kind of like Ryland said, right? Allow those leaders to kind of show the guys new players that are coming in how things are done. And once they do that, they'll be fine. They got the big game coming up this week against Kentucky, but they just came off those bad losses against Auburn, against Texas A&M, and of course yesterday against Ole Miss, which nobody really saw coming, but 78-74, they take a loss there. But it's funny that you mentioned, the SEC not being just about football. I mean, when you really look at it, heck, when you look at the standings, Alabama, Texas A&M, Tennessee, Auburn, I mean, those are football schools that are leading the conference in terms of wins and losses. Kentucky's 5th or 6th down the road. I mean, So it's no longer just a football school, football conference. It's a lot of teams out there playing good ball, whether it's football, basketball, baseball. So it's across the conference, and a lot of things are happening for the SEC.
Yes, sir.
All right, folks. Well, that is it for the night. We appreciate you listening as always. Make sure when you show up, subscribe to the 100 Sanford podcast. We're on YouTube. We're on everything that you can listen to. Make sure you tell a friend who tells a friend, and make sure they are listening to the 100 Sanford podcast as well. But as always, see you at 100 Sanford, and go Dawg.
Yes. Go Dogs.
Thank you for listening to the 100 Sanford podcast. Tune in weekly to hear fresh content from the 100 Sanford podcast every Thursday, but also with some pop-up shows every now and then as news breaks. You can also follow the content on our website, www.100sanfordpodcast.com, and email us at dogs@100sanfordpodcast.com. Lastly, reach out to us on social media streams. For Twitter, it's @100Sanford, but on IG, TikTok, Facebook, and other accounts, it's 100 Sanford Podcast. All right, folks, that's it. And as usual, see you at 100 Sanford.